Welcome back to the Webby and O'Neill channel. And with Erik ten Hag officially out, Manchester United are edging closer and closer for a deal for Ruben Amorim to become the next Manchester United manager. Latest reports are that Manchester United want him in place as soon as the game on Sunday against Chelsea. Get involved with your own opinions in today's chat, because we will discuss some of them throughout today's video. How are you feeling about all this news? Well, it's like a bit of a whirlwind 24 hours. The manager's been sacked, and it looks like we're getting closer to Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, it's all good news as far as I'm concerned. Getting a manager in place so quickly is exciting. I think everyone should look forward to this. But, you know, this conversation was going on a month ago, and I think Sporting Lisbon are preparing for this. So I don't think there's going to be any hold-ups on this. I think they're well prepared to get a replacement in, and United look as though they want him for Sunday, and he might even be here to wave to the crowd on Wednesday night.
Any risks involved with this? When you look at the profile of Amorim, you know, coming at this stage in the season, no pre-season, to get to work with his style of play, the way he wants the team to play. And let's face it, you know, the table doesn't lie. Manchester United are 14th right now. He needs to start getting results and points on the board, surely.
Listen, there's always risk with any manager, especially coming to Manchester United. We've seen that time and time again. Yeah. So, you know, you can have a CV, you can have this, you can talk all you want. There's always a risk. But what I want to see here, managers have come and gone here at Manchester United. What I want to see, I want to see somebody who's coming in as a coach to get these players playing football. One of the bugbears about Erik ten Hag has been, and I think it's coming out from United, that they weren't happy that he wasn't improving players, that his coaching wasn't right up to scratch. So what you want from Amorim is to come in here and start coaching these players, get them playing football, and give them a lift. We might get a short-term lift, we may not, but hey, you want a coach. And I look at it as a coaching point of view, and also as a planning from INEOS point of view. They're doing Carrington up, okay, spending millions and millions of pounds doing it up. So they're looking at the coaching side of it. This is somebody I think they were earmarking to bring in the summer, regardless of what Erik ten Hag did this year. So a coach, that's what I want more of, and he fits the bill for me.
Yeah, you're talking about maybe in a couple of years' time we'll look back and he'll probably have aged 10 years like the majority of United coaches post-Ferguson. And you're talking about a coach there, and I think we can all agree that's the plan going forward from the guys inside there with the suits of like Dan Ashworth, Barada, Wilcox, etc. Well, they're more hands-on with the football department as well as the manager. But is that also running a risk when a lot of people out there who we see daily commenting on our channel still think we've got mercenaries in this Manchester United squad that if they don't fancy him, okay, he's just a coach. He's not really anyone there with authority. And if they don't take to him, well, we're not putting 100% in, and there's another coach out the door.
I think
player power wins.
Well, I think what he's got, I think he's got a free rein until the end of the summer with these players. We know Deadwood's in there. We know players need to be moved out, and we know players have down tools before. Listen, the people inside United, they already know who they're going to move on, who needs to be moved on, and he will be fully aware by Brailsford, people like that inside the club, of who's going to get moved on. The plan's there. I mean, I spoke to someone yesterday, and they said to me, the plan by INEOS isn't ripped up. It's just not going to plan. It's just not going to plan. And I think we can all agree that. I think they were hoping to get Erik ten Hag playing, change the football, get players to improve. It's not happened. And this coach coming in, he's got a free rein. So nobody should be getting on his back at all this season. I think he was earmarked to come in at the end of the summer.
To be honest with you just saying that about getting on his back, you know, if things don't start going well and we don't see ourselves moving up that table, for me personally, I won't like tell anyone what to think out there and how to think for themselves, but I'd be voicing and venting my anger towards the suits inside Manchester United because of the decision-making that has been made in the summertime to keep Erik ten Hag, extend that contract, and within, 116 days, decided to sack him. And they've then appointed a manager at this point in the season who's got no time, let's face it, to implement the way he wants to play. And you're looking at these players who are currently in this squad, you know, a lot out there well, videos that I've seen from all these tacticals out there on social media, this dynamic 3-4-3 system. Can he implement that straight away with these players in the squad that we've got? Is he going to have to, like, maybe keep this sort of, like, counter-attacking football that we've seen for the majority of the years here at Manchester United, just to get him through to the end of the season and then give him the time to then implement what he wants to do? I'm not too sure.
I look at it this way. A lot of fans will expect miracles. You're not going to get miracles. What you're going to get is people trying to, like, play the system. People already know inside that club they're leaving. They ain't going to be the future of Manchester United. So what you should expect, right, is carnage and chaos again, okay, by certain players. Deadwood ain't going to change their mind. Will everyone be on board? No, they won't. We've seen that time and time again when a new manager comes in. And I personally don't care where we finish. I just want inside that club sorting out. You've got to write this season off, as far as I'm concerned. This manager, he's been brought in way too early than what the suits thought. You've got to look at it. Is it the right decision? Yeah, it is the right decision, but it's the wrong time.
Yeah.
It's the wrong time. So he's got a free pass as far as I'm concerned. If he turns some of these players round, fantastic. Okay, will we get the results? I don't think we'll get all the results what we want. I expect an improvement, but it won't be to where a lot of United fans are expecting. So he, for me, has got a free rein. Doesn't matter whether it's Amorim or anyone else. Okay, he's got a free rein, because this is the wrong time to bring a manager in and expect miracles. And a lot of fans are expecting miracles. We ain't going to get it. So you can forget competing for a cup, for getting in the top four or anything like that. If it happens, but don't expect it.
Similar, if you take yourself back to 2+ years when Ten Hag walked through the door, he's got a similar reputation as what Erik Ten Hag had. Let's face it, in the Dutch league, Amorim coming from the Portuguese league, this reputation about emphasising bringing youth through, etc. So,
listen,
you're expecting big changes though to that starting 11, where he is bringing maybe some more of the youth through, and some of the players we've been seeing season after season not really putting it in. Maybe taking a back seat on the bench, watching a few games of football. Well,
Amorim reports are saying that he's on board with the plan and with everything what Brailsford and everything have spoke to him about. He's on board with what they want. And what they want to bring in young players. We've seen him already bring in young players, work with them, coach with them and everything. So he's on board with that. And I'm sure Brailsford, Ashworth and all that fully understand that this manager cannot come in here and work miracles. But what he can do is work to their plan. And that's what I see him as. I see him as their man. He's under their orders. Erik Ten Hag wanted full control. This man's not going to get full control. This man's under orders to come in here and do a certain job. Make these players improve, especially the players Erik Ten Hag bought, because Erik Ten Hag never improved them. We know that. We hope that he turned it round. He never turned it round. But Amorim's coming in to turn these players round, not to run the club, whereas Erik Ten Hag thought he could run the club. Only Sir Alex Ferguson was able to run the club because he turned the full club around, okay? Them days are gone. Managers have come here with expectations, with CVs and everything, and walked away from here bald, grey-haired, looking haggard, okay? This man, he comes in, he's now under orders and under the plan of what INEOS going forward are. So let's see if it works.
What do you think was the biggest turning point or sticking point that actually got Erik Ten Hag sacked, though? Was it his own tactics? Or do you think also there was a lot of players that let Erik Ten Hag down?
Listen, you can point to many things. You can point to Erik Ten Hag, certainly.
Because we look back on, sorry to interrupt, we look back on a recent article done in The Athletic, and players were asked after the FA Cup final about what the thoughts were on the season, etc. I think it was done by Andy Mitten, and he didn't disclose player names, but he said, I'm sure there was 3 or 4 players who discussed with him, and their thoughts on Erik ten Hag's tactics, and that they weren't fully on board with what was going on during that season with ten Hag's tactics. So this manager's coming in with, like I say, with his reputation of doing something totally different to what we've seen here at Old Trafford in recent years. And it's a matter of, well, if these players don't fancy it after a few games, they don't think they can do it, will we see a repeat of, again, of, you know, banging the washing machine, wash, rinse and repeat?
Yeah, well, here's the problem. INEOS should have come in, Sir Jim Ratcliffe should have just come in and got rid of him. I would have had no complaints about that, getting rid of Erik ten Hag when a new owner comes in. That's what we all expected. Well, a lot of us expected that, and we would not have been shocked by it, okay? No complaints. Here I am. Here's what I aim to do, and the manager here isn't up to scratch, or he's not going to go along with my plan, okay? So, at the end of the day, really, INEOS, that's where the fault lies. They should have just come in, cleared the decks, looked at the players, got rid of X amount of players, wiped the mouth on the loss by just getting rid of players, but they didn't do that. And what they've done, they've let it carry on and on and on. And when you talk about cup final, the cup final clearly kept him in the job. But for turnaround, when you talk about players talking after the game, and it only recently being reported, that's bad reporting as far as I'm concerned. When the chips were down for Erik ten Hag, it's like throwing a knife in his back. Things like that should have come out as and when. That's what journalists are there for, to inform us fans, especially when you're a United fan. But at the end of the day, it all goes down to the wrong move. This is the wrong time. I'm not knocking it. Yes, it had to be done. It was the right decision. But the thing is, the plan, it's not ripped up. Like I said, it's just not going to plan. And that plan really should have been implemented the moment they walked in, cleared the decks. And unfortunately, we've all had to suffer, right, on a weekly basis. Rumours, and that's never any good for anybody. So this manager's got a clear path now. He's coming in, he's going to work under what INEOS want. So this man doesn't work. Amorim, if it fails, then it's down to the people behind the scenes, because they clearly have been put in place to help the manager here now, and they want this style of football. So it's now really all down to Sir Jim Ratcliffe, INEOS. This is the style of football. This is how we want it implemented. Away you go. So the future, as far as I'm concerned, is exciting. And I'm excited about this manager because I see him more of a coach. And I think this club, over the years, since Sir Alex Ferguson walked in this club, it's grown and grown and grown. But it's outgrown the modern manager. That's how I see it. So I expect a lot of the roles what managers have took on over the years at Old Trafford are diminished, and it's more about coaching. Yes, there'll be press conferences and things like that, but I think the interference in how the club's run, that's gone. And I think Erik ten Hag and Brailsford and all that, I think they were at each other's throat about certain things, how it was implemented. So this manager, he's got everything going for him. He's got a CV. He's young, he can learn, and he can adapt. But at the same time, he can put his own little method in there, and let's hope it works.
Talking about adapting as well, and a lot of critics out there about Erik ten Hag, and some reports that you did see in the media, which you can either take with a pinch of salt or you can believe in. But it was as though Erik ten Hag was very stubborn on his tactics, and he wouldn't often listen to some of the conversations around him with certain advice. Like, don't get me wrong, in time we will probably know more of the facts about Erik ten Hag's time at United. But that was always something labelled at ten Hag, that he was too stubborn around his tactics and not willing to change at times.
Well, listen. When a man's down, everyone just stabs him and all that, okay? That's what happens in life, okay? People deflect from their own inadequacies. So if you go by that rule, then got to look back at last year, year before. Steve McLaren, okay, kept his mouth shut then, didn't he? Bang out of order. Bang out of order. The club comes first, okay? Yeah. He kept his mouth shut, and I've always said it. People inside there look after their own jobs and take the money. Now, if that's to be believed, right, that people didn't like what Erik ten Hag was doing, they did nothing about it, but they kept taking the money, okay? And then you look at Darren Fletcher, right, and other people in the coach, they're all stabbing him now, if that's the case, if these reports are to be believed, okay? bang out of order. Okay, there's a lot of people inside that club who have got to take responsibility, and that has been the major fall and the major problem of Manchester United. People in there do not take responsibility, and that goes from the coaches right through to the suits and everything. And all I can say on that is that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, Brailsford and all that start sorting this out.
Talking about people maybe leaking stories, if stories are being leaked, I'd point the finger firmly inside that changing room, more so than any coaching staff. But one of the reasons Erik ten Hag got sacked, and that was because he wasn't winning games, not scoring enough goals to win them games. That's our problem right now. So will Amorim actually fix that when he walks in through the door? Do you expect him to fix that with what you've seen over at Sporting Lisbon?
Well, I expect him to improve the players. Okay, I expect them to work harder for 90 minutes. I think some of these players will get exposed. That's what you want. You want a clear exposure of these players. There's some players in there where some of us just can't believe that they're even starting a game. Okay, because of the work rate.
Yeah,
just can't. You just expect this manager to come in, right, and ask for 100%. All his CV tells me, proper coach, works with his players, gets on. Everything else like that. And I'm being truly honest here, I don't really know too much. I've caught up on a little bit about him. That's me. So I'm no expert on this fella, right? So I just expect him to come in, get these players together and tell them, this is what I expect. And that's why he's been brought in, because the coaching's been poor. Erik ten Hag, the reports from the club is that they're not happy that he's not improved players, okay? So it's the coaching. And we've seen that. We've gone on about it for nearly 2 years, about how wide apart we are in midfield and etc. Then other things break down. He's not going to have this. He's a coach. So there's the improvement straight away. But players, some of them are just not going to have it, okay? Well, that's fine, because I think Sir David Brailsford and all that inside there already know who's earmarked for getting rid next summer.
Bruno Fernandes recently spoke about Bruno Amorim. I think it was on the last international break, and he said since Mr. Amorim arrived at Sporting, it has been one of the best teams to play the best football. Now, a lot of people I've seen, even on yesterday's video that we've done about Erik ten Hag being sacked, people are already questioning Bruno Fernandes on whether he will still be the captain. Do you think Bruno should still hold that armband when Amorim comes in? Me personally, I don't think any big decisions like that need to be made right now. And if he was to change him, I think that would be done more or less in the summertime, if that is needed.
I think many fans out there would be very surprised if a change like that would happen. The manager has to get his feet under the table. He has to understand the club. He has to understand the players, and he has to get them working to his ideas and that. And if the captain doesn't work to his ideas, like any other player in there, then changes will be made. But regarding the captaincy, I can't see that changing for quite a while. If it changes at all, you might see a different Bruno Fernandes here. You might see a different with any of the players. But I did see some things about going, oh, he's Portuguese. He's coming from Sporting Lisbon. Does that mean Delo and Bruno Fernandes are now sorted and everything's hunky-dory with them? They'll play every game. No, that ain't going to work. I don't think this manager's coming here, right, to be had over by players suddenly going, I'm teacher's pet.
It depends what authority he's actually got, though. Let's face it, is he just coming in what a lot of us widely expect, just to coach the team, training day in, day out, and then just be that voice in press conferences just to give his own opinion? And the bigger matters that go on inside the football club, even around players who are not happy with the current situation, for the likes of Wilcox, Ashworth, etc., to deal with that instead of the manager. So it all depends on what authority he has got. Also to do with recruitment as well. How many people, including ourselves, have basically slagged off the recruitment over the years here at Manchester United? Are we going to hear that same old phrase, the process? Are we going to go through another process for the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, you've got to look at it. He's coming in, right? Description as a manager, right? But I think he's more earmarked to coach these players. Yes, he'll have an input on certain things and all that, but it's been clear from the beginning, okay, since INEOS got in here, okay, they're in charge. They will make the big decisions, but the manager will be included in them. Yes, he'll have an input on that. That's the way they're going. You come to Manchester United now, you do as you're told. These are the rules. This is what we want from you. This is what we expect. The people inside there, lots of people have lost their jobs in there because this is what they expect from their workforce. So this manager, it's clear as anything, right? He's on board in the way to work inside Manchester United as a manager.
Yeah, Gricker in the chat says, bigger things to change than the captaincy over the course of this season. Start with the commitment from every player and benching those who have crap games. Well, yeah. But then again, though, you're coming in, like I said before, United are currently in 14th place.
Crap.
The manager's going to have to come in because he's going to need a response straight away. So he's going to need all the players on board, surely, and especially the ones who have got the most influence in that changing room, who we all know who them players are.
I think up until the international break, this is where all the players get exposed now. Okay, they have to put it in. And they've not put it in for Erik ten Hag. Some of them have strolled around, watched the ball go behind them, get caught out. They've scored, and there's a player stood there on the edge of the box, or this player's not running up front. So these players are going to get exposed in quick succession. There's games coming up, and there's no hiding place for them, okay? But on the other side of it, fans will be turning round and saying, well, look at them. They're running round now for the new manager. Well, what about us? What about the club? They've just been picking up the money and not caring, and now they're under the spotlight. They are under the spotlight. Me and Kieran, Webby, we will be looking at these players, and I'm ready to see what reaction comes from the players. And the manager really should expect a reaction. You see it. Is it the manager bounce, what they talk about? You should expect it here at Manchester United. And if you don't get it by certain players, then you just know what's going to go on in the future. They won't be here.
Just diving into the chat, Glenn Bignell says, the media will need clicks. Amorim will get the same treatment as Erik ten Hag soon enough if he doesn't win the first few games. Blake says, would be happy to see a clear strategy straight away and similar to the one at Chelsea, an organised team that looks like it's playing together.
Well, I go back to the first comment there. You talk about him coming in, Amorim coming in, and the press, the media and all that will go straight at him in that. That's what...
The one thing that they will do is build him up right up there first. So while he's up there, then if he does start not getting the results that the media demand, I'm not saying the United fans, the media demand, that's when they'll start throwing the knives in and chipping away.
No, I think
that's what they do, the English media. They build them up to bring them back down.
No, I think the knives are already in. I've seen reports there doubting this Amorim, his ability to turn this club round or anything like that. He's already turned round, like an agenda there has already gone. What, best in class, this manager, best in class? West Ham reportedly had talks with him. Liverpool reportedly have talks with him. They turned Amorim down and didn't fancy him. So the narrative is already there. So don't be fooled, okay, that they're going to build him up, okay? The narrative's there. He's not best in class. West Ham and Liverpool turned him down. So, no, any manager what comes in here is going to get it. He's just going to get it, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, just the same with Erik ten Hag, really, when he had the interview, was it with Tottenham Hotspur, and the narrative was that he lacked charisma, which, looking at the end of it now, and you're looking at some of his press conferences, you know, me being just honest with you, I can kindly agree with that in certain aspects of it. But the big talking point for me personally is, I don't know about yous out there, is Ruben Van Nistelrooy going to stay here with Amorim and stay on the coaching staff? Let me know what you think about that, whether you think he will or he actually should do.
Well, I look at it, what goes on in the world of football, especially in the Premier League and that. Manager comes in, what he wants is trusted people around him, people who he knows and that. So maybe there might not be a clear out straight away. Maybe at the end of the season, some people from Sporting Lisbon might be joining him. But for now, I really can't see a big clear out of coaches and people in the background and everything. But I do expect something, but not early doors yet. That's why I'm saying don't expect miracles like a lot of people out there seem to be sort of saying. Not many, but there's a few. So I think he'll bring his people in over time. But a lot of people in there, and I did say it, you know, Ruud van Nistelrooy, the rest of the coaching staff. If Erik ten Hag gets sacked, they'll all end up going. They've no place here, and that's just the way of the world when a new manager comes in.
Well, Manchester United fans were unique in some ways in our support for our managers.
Yes.
We'll always back our managers. But if things don't go right this season with him coming in, Amorim, and you know how impatient certain sections of the fan base are, what would your answer be to that?
Well, they clearly don't understand what's going on. It's a football club.
Because it is also a risky time to be bringing in a new manager from a different league into this current mess at Manchester United.
Well, it's not going to work straight away. You just have to accept that. It's, you know, if there's a plan for the future, okay, this future's been brought a little bit early. They were looking at the summer of doing this by all reports, okay? You cannot expect anything to go on. So if we're playing, say the results don't go our way, which I don't expect, okay? I think that would be a miracle if the results suddenly went our way. You expect all them players in there suddenly to be world beaters. Come on, who's kidding who here? So, you know, just on that alone, you can't expect the results to vastly improve. Yes, there will be an uptick. That's what I'm hoping. But no, if this turns out that we don't win a cup, we don't compete or anything like that, so be it. That's the way it is. You know, you have to accept that sometimes for the better good and the long-term prosperity. The manager's here, he knows what's going on, and everyone will be able to see, and the people in charge will be able to see what needs to be done in the summer. Simple as.
Might actually start seeing Agati now, because he did play under him at Sporting Lisbon. I do like the idea, though, with three at the back and the four in the midfield. You know, three at the back with Martinez, De Ligt and Yoro. I think that looks pretty decent, that, to be fair. And then, you know, a bit of a mix in the four across midfield.
Well, I'll look at the formation, tactics and everything else like that, and I don't think you can actually turn around and say, oh, I like that, or well, I don't.
I'm just judging based on this current squad, what we've got now.
Right, well, I'm going to say this, right? You can't actually say how this team can set up under this manager, okay, with this current squad.
Yeah,
because I'm just saying, the manager coming in, he might not think certain players can do it. And the facts are, we're 14th in the league. So whatever has been set up, it's not worked. There has to be a fundamental change from the coaching side of it.
Yeah, of course, and that's what he's going to bring, a fundamental change coming in through this door. You know, his system is totally different to what Erik ten Hag's been playing at Manchester United. And like I say, I'd like that three at the back, if he's going to actually play that from minute one against Chelsea, you know, if he is in that soon, you know, I'd be interested to see how that works. I just think there's going to be certain players who may not fit that system.
Oh, yeah.
In particular, like maybe your wide players like Antony. I don't really see a system or where they fit into it. Even like a Marcus Rashford, I've got doubts about that. Well, with Rashford and how he fits into that system as well, in what he plays. I think there's going to be big question marks on a lot of the established players or big name signings what we've made over the last few years.
Oh, this question
in this current squad, but I do like the sound of that four across. I think it'd suit us better, especially with having Kobbie Mainoo in there. Maybe see more of Agati, hopefully. And I just like the sound of that three at the back with Martinez, De Ligt and Yoro.
Yeah, I really do. I think it's going to be exciting to see. You have your preference, which is fine. I've got my preference. Lots of people out there have got their preference. But it's going to be exciting to see. So any system, whatever could, I think it might be hit and miss. He might stumble on a system which he might change the following year once he's got total control and he's had a good look at these players. Some of these players might not be up to the system he wants to play, so he might have to adapt. And I think you're going to see changes of system as we go on. This coach is going to come in, he's going to try and get the best out of him, and what he wants, they might not be able to implement it. So it's all good going forward. And like I say, the plan isn't ripped up. It's just not going to plan.
Yeah, that's the one.
And that's what I expect this year. Whatever he's got thinking, it won't go to plan, because some of these players just won't be part of that plan and won't accept the change what's coming. And we've seen that time and time again under every new manager.
Interesting to see, though, as well, what actual team Van Nistelrooy picks against Leicester. Do you not think? Any players that you might actually drop as to say, well, I've been here this season. I know the players in the background who have not been putting it in. For this game, while I'm in charge, I'm making a statement, and you're on the bench, son.
But then that puts the question out there, doesn't it? You know, if Van Nistelrooy does a dramatic change of players and makes a statement, it also says to you, well, why didn't you say something? Why didn't you help Erik ten Hag? Why wasn't you conversing, putting your thoughts through and making sure you got them through? That's what I thought Van Nistelrooy was brought for. I thought Hacker was the same. I thought it was to have a routine, get it together with Erik ten Hag, a change of coaching. So if he does make dramatic changes, you have to say to yourself, well, why didn't you help Erik ten Hag? Why didn't you be forceful? Because if there's one thing about Van Nistelrooy, he's a forceful man. He's in your face. We've seen it on the sidelines. So questions, answers, all that, it's all coming, which is great. Yeah. Which is great for United fans, this.
Yeah, you also got to look on the other hand, like we said before. You know, a lot of people out there seem to think Erik ten Hag was stubborn with his tactics, wouldn't really take on board information he was given. But that's just all based on opinion and reports out there. I'd just like to thank everyone for joining us today. Marcus, thanks for keeping a tab on the likes and how many people are watching.
Thank you.
Exciting times right now at Manchester United. We need a big lift, and it looks like Ruben Amorim is going to be the man in the dugout to hopefully, fingers crossed, to give us that. But let us know all your thoughts on Amorim in the chat, please, below.
Yeah, what it is with Amorim, just before we finish up, I'll just reiterate, look, his job is here to improve these players. And most notably, he's got to improve Erik ten Hag's signings. And unfortunately, Erik ten Hag just couldn't do the job.
Yeah, bang on. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Smash that like button as well. Really helps us and supports the channel. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.